Can have some salience today.
See what
Have it
happens.
help us. Okay. What are we doing here? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA. We're going to talk about salience today, which is a big word that Mark Ritson throws around a lot, and postmodernism, and a lot of other rabbit trails, which I hope you all enjoy. Stick with me and like and share. Give it a share. That's important. I don't know why, because otherwise we won't have any reach or salience. Okay, so let's get over to the news. Right, but before we do, we're going to watch the new Belvedere commercial with Daniel Craig. We're not going to watch the whole thing because it's 2 minutes and 35 seconds. But here's the beginning of it. What's he thinking? What's he looking out over? Monaco? Perhaps?
With the starting 2 members, I just got here, the party's stupendous. I'm just spending, I bought out the whole bar. I'm just generous.
Maybe it's Rome. Then he goes on and dances around his hotel for a while.
Cut. Let's go again. Just be yourself.
Belvedere vodka.
Okay, so we're going to come back to that in a minute. There's only so much dancing I can take. And yes, according to Mark Ritson, everybody's seen that. I'm not sure that's true, but let's go on to the regular news. Okay, so according to Marketing Brew, a lot of people are starting to take note of small format magazines, which are supposed to be sales oriented. This is one by Oatly, which is that fake milk. I don't mind that stuff. I kind of like it. I've never really liked milk, even though I grew up in America's Dairyland. I love cheese, but I don't like milk. But anyway, so a lot of brands came up with these things in the last few years. Airbnb had Pineapple and Airbnb Magazine. Uber had Momentum, Arriving Now, and Vehicle. Okay, but only a handful of these brand magazines seem to remain in circulation. And here's the problem. Branded magazines aren't great at driving sales. I remember when, that's according to Polly Wong, president of Bellardi Wong, and that's the only quote in there from Polly. That's kind of funny. I was hoping she had more to say here. I remember when Chrysler came to me and said, we want to do a catalog that's related to our minivan members club, which they had just launched. And I said, I'm not sure you're going to sell anything with that. I don't know if everybody uses minivans in the same way or if they care about their, identifying with your brand. They just want to lug their kids around. If they wanted, if we had a president of Miglosh Marketing for a while, and we gave him a company car, and he bought some really snazzy, fast sports car, which he then totaled, and then his wife made him buy a minivan. I don't think he liked the minivan as much. Anyway, so now Oatly and Recess and Jones Soda are going toward unbranded publications. But it's a neat little format, and by choosing the zine format, he said, it had a purposeful pivot away from what he did. This is the guy who did let's see, what's his name here? Bob, I guess it's Bob Blair, CMO of Jones Soda. And he'd come from that experience with Uber, or with Airbnb rather. And so Mary Zine will be available for pickup in California, where Mary Jones is sold. And the contents include, this is like marijuana, I think. Photojournalism essays, okay? But the way this thing works, one benefit of a zine from a cost standpoint, I don't have to make it fancy to make it effective, he said. Now, how do you measure effectiveness? So Oatly's sending out 10,000 copies of that print version to Oatly's independent coffee shop partners. Okay, I think the best way to run that, I mean, I could pull it out of my profile, but we had a client that was selling import-export forms. And, the way those worked at the time was you could get a pad of 100 for like $1, and they were selling integrated forms for $10 per form. But if you had a $1 million desalination machine sitting on a dock because somebody had made a typo on one of those independent forms, the $10 was worth it. And so I said, you ought to put out a Magalog, which is kind of the same idea, but tell the stories of import-export disasters. And it worked really well for a while. I don't know what happened to them. That was a long time ago, but they really seemed to like it at the time. I still have one of their mugs around here someplace. Uns and Company was the name. So I'm kind of a fan, and I like this format, but you want to put some merchandising in, ask for the order, some offer, something, because people are looking for that. They're thinking, well, why did I get this, and what can I do with it? And, now that I am excited, what do I do? So put a QR code and send them to your landing page. Okay, now let's get over to the main point of today, which is that there's a new phase in marketing, and it's resulting in empty but effective advertising. This, I think, is really good. As always, Mark Ritson. Okay, so he starts out with a splendid new long-form video ad for Belvedere vodka that's going around this week. And, it was very easy to find. And he gives an outline of what happens, but you saw most of that. He climbs in and out of a Rolls Royce. And within a few short hours, it has become culturally predominant. Okay, and here's the end where he has this special refrigerator for Belvedere vodka. But what does it actually mean? And this is the catch right here. What's the initial look all about? The strange dancing, the 80s jacket, the DC jewelry. What does it say about Belvedere? What's the link between Paris? Oh, it's Paris, okay. And the brand, between brand and celebrity. Does Daniel Craig even eat or drink Belvedere in real life? Will consumers care when he's endorsed so many other beverages in his celebrity past? Why does it end like that? It's got a comedy ending, but basically, as far as I can tell, the meaning of the meaning of the commercial, if you get to the end, was that he hated making the commercial, but at the end he gets to drink the vodka. And he and the director go out to some club afterwards, and it was like, now that's finally over. And so Ritson goes on, the answer to these 20th century questions is the same. It does not matter. This ad made almost a quarter century into a new millennium, and more than 30 years after David Akers published Managing Brand Equity. Okay, so there's this book, and I haven't read it. That's why I listen to Mark Ritson, because I don't have that strong a background in all these esoteric philosophical pictures of marketing. But it represents the current milieu. That's probably a French word. It's an engaging, attractive, uber cool slice of nothing. It's all about signifiers. Not only is all signified meaning absent, it was never meant to signify anything in the first place. It's a lack of any relation to reality. Right. All it is sort of symbolism strung together. And I'm an expert on this. One of my very first movies, back when we actually had to shoot film, was in about 1972. Yes, it was 72. You say, I didn't know you were that old. Yes, it was for the independent study in my senior year of high school, which really was basically just goofing around. And based on the production time and quantity of the long form of War and Peace, we were told we had to produce 20 minutes of film for the English department at my high school. And we were doing pretty well. We had a lot of weird stuff, but we were really committed to the idea of let's shoot something that looks symbolic and looks meaningful but has no meaning whatsoever. And to kick it off, we needed about 5 minutes more of film, and we didn't have it, and we didn't want to come up short here. And so somehow we got the idea to take white paper and put it on the floor and pour paint into it, into a puddle. And we painted and we poured black paint and dripped it out as slow as we could, And then we poured white paint into the black paint. And then we had a little drop of red come in at the end. And we played the music. We played, I think it was Bing Crosby singing Just a Gigolo. You'll never get a show like this. You'll never see a show like this. So anyway, we were just trying to keep a straight face while we were presenting all this to the English department. The entire English department faculty was there from the high school and anybody else who wanted to come. And they gave us an A+ for the semester. And but the crowning achievement was after as we were walking out, one of the English teachers stopped us and he said, I really, really liked this. This was fantastic. Way better than we would have ever expected. But how did you get the paint to go into the shape of a man and woman embracing? And it was everything you could do to not laugh in his face. And I don't remember what we said. But this is where we're at today. And as I said, we pioneered this. But we never told the English department. We just wanted to goof around and basically do nothing. Anyway, so this is where we're at in marketing as well. Just because an ad is devoid of significance does not mean it will be devoid of impact. Absolutely right. We got an A. So anyway, we live in a time where presence, salience, and even the briefest burst of attention is the highest marketing priority. And just getting anyone to listen to a sentence is a valuable achievement. My style consultant says, there's actually people that listen to your show. I said, I don't know if that's true. But, she said, I'd rather have a dozen people who actually listen than have 100,000 people who just, click on it and go away. Anyway, so Belvedere will win Christmas because it got people thinking without any ultimate semantic goal about Belvedere. In fact, I think the ending, if you get to the ending, is sort of tongue-in-cheek against significance in vodka advertising. Bring the brand to mind among as many people as often and as positively as possible, and you will win growth. Vodka is a drink that can be literally made from anything, which is meant to smell and taste of nothing. It's the hyper-reality beverage. And this is where I differ from Ritson, which I usually do. Anyone who tells you they have a favorite vodka is writing I know nothing in red lipstick across their forehead in wonky letters in front of you. And of course, that's probably true with the name brand vodkas. Although I have to say, one of my friends, Danny, gave me a shot of Boris Yeltsin's, no, I think it was Mikhail Gorbachev's favorite vodka, his personal vodka. And I have to say, that was unlike any beverage I've ever had. And it warmed you up, and there was no burn. It was, and I think I just, they told me just throw back the shot. And that's usually not very pleasant with vodka or tequila or some of those things. They're very harsh often. But this wasn't. This was unbelievable. And, call me up and say hello and tell me you want to hear the vodka story of how I got a shot of Mikhail. And this is a premier distillery in Russia, but this particular level of their vodka is not available to buy. And this was a gift directly from Mikhail Gorbachev, Mikhail Gorbachev to my friend Danny. And I can explain why, but I won't right now. Okay, so Brewdog. I was going to do a follow-up on Brewdog because all kinds of marketers have called out Brewdog, and I did a little bit, because they're calling out the hypocrisy of the Qatar or Qatar, depending on how you say it, World Cup soccer, when they don't treat their employees the best according to glass ceiling or whatever, it's glass door or back door or whatever it is. And the hypocrisy's been called out, that they're still selling their beer to Keter and their all this stuff. But you know what? They get attention. And Mark actually said that they once offered 10 solid gold beer cans in a contest that neglected to award even a single solid gold beer can. To make up for this error, the brewery launched a new contest for the chance to win a diamond-encrusted solid gold beer can. And none have yet surfaced, and they don't care. They just want to get in the news. And there are some politicians who are reminiscent of that, who are able to get salience without necessarily much content. There is no meaning other than the celebration of the lack of it. Now, I don't think this is the only way to market, right? Although, if you read Confessions of an Ad Man by David Ogilvy, and he talks about the Hathaway shirt ad where he happened to stop at a pharmacy for something, and he picked up an eye patch, and that eye patch got the attention and instantly, doubled or tripled the size of this 100-year-old shirt maker. Anyway, which was then bought by an entrepreneur finance guy who then doubled the price that he got for it in a year. But anyway, getting attention, getting salience, getting people to talk about it, making it so weird. Andrew Ettinger puts on a weird hat and does these crazy videos, and he gets a lot more attention than I do. My hair was just like poof this morning. I said maybe I should do videos like that. It would get more attention. People would wonder what was up. But anyway, don't worry about Brewdog and their hypocrisy. Hypocritical bastards. Burn them, burn them. Mark concludes with its marketing works better than most. They do two things well. They make good beer and they also get attention. And people, he also makes the point that people are sick of all the pompous, we're cleaner than anybody else. We're more altruistic than anyone else. We're the most eco-friendly brand. It's like, make good beer. Make good beer and make funny commercials, and we're probably all happy with it. So the game is empty salience, okay? Partly because of an exhausted post-COVID consumer that has done enough soul searching for one decade. Partly because marketers now realize it was always way important than any of us initially thought, and partly because whatever emerges from the reptile part of the brain is rationalized by its monkey bits. Okay, a dancing Daniel Craig means nothing, but it will sell a shit ton of vodka. Brewdog's reputation of Qatar 2022 is empty, inconsistent, and ultra effective. Okay? Smile Baudrillard once wrote, this is a guy who wrote on postmodernism in his masterwork, America, and others will smile back. Smile to show how transparent, how candid you are. Smile if you have nothing to say. Most of all, do not hide the fact that you have nothing to say, nor your total indifference to others. That's what it takes to do live streaming every day. Let this emptiness, this profound indifference, shine out spontaneously in your smile. And on that note, thank you, Mark Ritson. Have a great day. Give it a share. You won't see another marketing video like this today. Bye-bye.